just wanted to reconfirm some of the things that we had testified to in committee. It was, as I recall, it was testified that over 99% of life insurance policies are paid out to their beneficiaries under current practice and law. Is that your understanding?
That was the testimony of the representative of the Life Insurance Council. I don't have any independent knowledge of that.
Sure. Well, but I mean, there's no reason to doubt it. And the Department of Insurance is actually, right now, already rolling out a policy locator for folks to check for their deceased loved ones and see if they had any life insurance policies in force. I mean, isn't that's already happening, isn't it?
That's if that's happening, that's great news. It's another complement to things that we can do to ensure these benefits get paid. You know, Representative, again, I just want to repeat that since those 22 life insurance companies started voluntarily doing this, we've gotten just to Illinois citizens $500 million of proceeds that they're entitled to.
Well, and this also then goes to the point of your particular bill. You know, how exactly did you decide that the insurance companies have to make 2 telephone calls, send 1 email, and send 2 postal letters?
Well, so that comes from the model language that the insurance commissioners have been working on drafting.
So as I mentioned earlier, that there was this interstate initiative between treasurers and insurance commissioners, and this is model language, and it's been adopted in many other states.
Well,
again, in this digital age, Representative, I really don't see this as being that burdensome.
Except it actually, I mean, as I understand it, your language has been adopted in a single state, and that was Florida, and that was yesterday or what have you when it was signed. So it was a one state that has your actual language, and that then goes to my next question. Isn't there a model from the NCOIL, which is the National Conference of Insurance Legislators? That's not the companies, but it's folks like us. So legislators across the country who are experts in the insurance field have made themselves such. They've put out a model policy to deal with this issue. So why didn't you adopt that one? Why didn't we bring that one forward?
So there are actually, NCOIL has at least 2 different versions. The exact NCOIL is not adopted in any exact state. We differ in specifying, ours is similar in many ways to the earlier NCOIL model as far as defining what you have to do for the search. It's got the best parts of the second one, though, in that the search criteria is in there.
So my understanding, Representative, is that there have been 2 different versions of NCOIL model legislation, neither of which has been adopted in any state. So exactly, but there are parts of these different models that have been adopted in many of the states. So ours has parts of the first model which relates to the way they search against the death master file, and then we have parts of it from the second model which relates to,
Actually, it's
I'm stating this backwards, I think.
it backwards, yeah. The match is in the second one. In the first one, it's what you have to do outreach.
So we are our requirements for reaching out to the beneficiaries comes from the first model, and our research comes from the second model.
And part of the problem here is this. I mean, we're dealing with, and actually just one last question to kind of close this out. Your bill would declare the violation a deceptive business practice, right?
Only if they are failing to do this so often that it constitutes a regular business practice.
Only if they're failing to meet these regulations so often that their failure becomes a regular business practice.
They've
In other words,
decided
it's
not
their
to
business
comply.
Yeah, we're going to refuse to do
They've
this.
decided not to comply.
That's correct.
All right, to the bill. See, one of the issues here is that the insurance industry has a set of contracts. And we are declaring that following the law at the time of the signature on the contract, the engaging in the contract, and following the terms of the contract will now be a deceptive business practice in the state of Illinois. And the insurance industry has come in. They have come in good faith. They have said, if you will adopt the NCOIL model, and that's not the insurance industry, it's legislators like us who've put this model bill together. They said on the record they would work with us and put that model into effect. They're willing to even go that far with us, but that was not the desire here today. We are imposing a mandate on this business, and the problem is, who's next? What contracts are next? I mean, we have a guarantee on our contracts, the U.S. Constitution. And I mean, just good common sense. Are banking contracts going to be subject to change next? Are securities contracts going to be subject to change next? You know, living through this day where we consider mandate after mandate on business, large and small, I mean, could we take maybe just a year moratorium on anti-business bills, just a period of time when we don't go after the business community in Illinois, just to give them a little sense that we don't want to drive every single one of them out of the state? This bill needs to go down. They were willing to work on it, didn't want to work on it, wanted to push through the treasurer's version. Great. You know what? Why are we doing this? There's no good reason for it when we could have found a ground for compromise. I urge a no vote.